For those of you who clicked on this video without knowing who Little Darkie is, can I ask why? But I'll give a speed explanation. Little Darkie, who is formerly known as Brahman, grew up as Joshua Hamilton in California, Long Beach. He had a controversy for saying the N-word a good amount despite being Indian, not black.
Just by making a post stating facts that most people were already aware of.
Which I have no comment on. He's gotten popular through TikTok, most noticeably this trend. He's niche by pushing lots of boundaries, along with music that requires an acquired taste. Darkie came out with a new album, and after listening to it, I think it was one of the best. It has less yelling music that he's more famous for, something like, Josiah, or NASCAR Aloe, Bart looking MF. I moved over to something more like singing rap. I think it's a good start to listen to him. Before I would agree with him on Big War, an 8-minute masterpiece about the disconnected war, as being his best songs to get into him.
Big War is a good start, because like if you can handle Big War, then you can handle like any of the shit that I say or do.
The reason he says can handle is because not everyone wants to listen to. Because of this, it has caught the eye of many reaction channels. They're exposing this somewhat underground artist. Many people will listen to his music and just bump their heads to it and not really pay attention to the words, like is expected from the album's predecessors, being more song by song rather than telling a story. Lots of people in the comments realized that he was telling us something in LA underbelly. He talks about how corporate and evil the music industry is, along with being one of the best sounding songs. It'll grab interest, and looking at the comments, people are actually really listening to what he is saying. A different clarity over many of his other songs. Along while listening to the opening song of the album, In the Shower, I realized that it's about the rap community and how he experiences it as an up and coming artist. Swamp. It starts with
Mayday, sewer flooding, evacuate immediately. Mayday, sewer flooding, evacuate immediately.
Neither of the Swamp albums started with a warning or ad-lib telling us the beginning of a story. Another reason I covered this one instead of the other ones.
Teacher, I have something to say. Mayday, sewer flooding, evacuate.
This is a warning. It is likely talking about the rap scene is getting oversaturated and worse. Later in the album saying,
You should rob a bank. All these songs ass I could spank. Every single rapper, every MC.
possibly talking about his group of rappers, Spidergang, with his friends like Wendigo and A14. The question mark is because he's responding to advice the rap community gives him. He's questioning it. The drugs will numb the pain, but they will end up becoming a bigger problem, touching on how many songs are talking about drug abuse in the rap game, and many artists dying because of it. And because of this, he says, in reverse,
I have accepted death. I have accepted my place in this reality. I have accepted that everything is temporary, and that nothing really matters.
With this advice, he still does drugs and accepts their danger. This is him joining the rap game and saying hello monkeys as a way to put himself higher than them, like he has and will do. As monkeys is a word used to demean African Americans, which populates a good portion of the rap community.
Take me back to the back of the class, but stand for the flash salute.
He's either saying he's about to school them, or sometimes the back of the class can be where the teachers or authority figures cannot see. Based off,
Fuck all the hate in the city and the state, you're doing what they want you to. And you are just a maggot on a mission.
talking to rappers and criticizing what they are doing.
I have said nothing for too long.
Talking about shit and flooding like the intro, along with saying that he has to get it out of his skin, meaning that this may be something he wanted to hold back, whether it was because of fear of backlash or he didn't know how to explain himself.
Rappers talking shit about the right, but they the ones that's given to the system. Benefiting from it when we fight, the government will never fucking listen.
This was something explained on Genius by user KeptX.
Darkie is referring to the government and the BLM movement that sparked in the midst of 2020. It was speculated that BLM was a leftist movement used in order to gain votes and funds for the Democratic Party. Although support for the movement was shown during its peak after the election by the Democratic Party casted them to the side, and to this day is refusing to meet with them.
Which sounds about right. Along with the earlier line saying, "You're doing what they want you to," is just to show how little their effort means and how it gets used. With that, he later says, "This is to show that they are getting used by the left and that they are likely left, spreading their ideas, opinions, and getting paid for it, much like politicians." Swamp songs have more to offer and more meaning than what I am showing you. I'm just focusing on the main path as not to over-explain each line, but only the ones that apply to my thesis.
I can't lie. When I see you on the internet, I want to die.
Before he even raps, he says,
Disclaimer, do not kill yourself and blame it on me.
meaning he will not let back, and he's gonna go all out. So it goes back to Darkie's basics, making a loud and proud beat to yell over.
When I see you on the internet, I want to die.
At first I thought he was talking about an ex that he just fucking hates, but later he says,
The way you moving like a fruit fly that wants to pop.
it starts to seem more like a person wants something.
Give it 1 year, your career just won't survive.
He's talking about a rapper. Any clues to which went over my head? Comment if you have an idea.
Run that back and front that back. Bitch, I want that back. Bet it tat, so I'm up one.
This is a flow taken from Darkie's biggest inspiration, XXX Tentacion, in his song Run It Back, along with the lyrics saying Run It Back.
Run that back. You bitch, I run it back.
A song which is similar in attitudes as one is threatening to kill pussy ass N-words talking shit, which is a sentiment Darkie shares. I think this starts to narrow down what rappers Darkie is talking about. It's more his now peers or soon to be peers that think that they are better than him / talking shit.
Like you rappers, you so lame with all the clothes you bought.
Supporting it being the people just entering riches like mid-tier rappers who spend their money in ways to show off.
I don't need no blow, don't need no hoes, don't need no 45.
This likely could focus on Freddie Dredd, but this makes less sense because Darkie is bigger than Freddie Dredd and there is no need to punch down, along with Swamp overflowing, so it should not just be one person. But then again, these are 3 common things said by rappers, so these specific lyrics may just be a coincidence.
This one goes out to all you sorry pieces of shit.
Going back to calling them shit, that is overflowing. This might be unintentional, but it sounds like something a kid would ask his mom so he can start to rap, inferring that these rappers he's talking about are just kids with mic. He's calling all his haters and these rappers stupid as a way to dismiss them. Calling back to the first Swamp song, talking about how rappers do drugs basically to fit in. Pools represent wealth, seeing as they are doing nothing with their wealth but using it as a symbol, and just living their life without worries, unlike the line before it. He is like the people, and doesn't fit in with the mainstream rap crowd. This is a callback to the X song he took inspiration from, talking about killing people that diss him, showing that their wealth is a part of their identity and need to be buried with it. This switches over to their fans on how they are young and suffer from the need of the feedback loop such as TikTok, discrediting it helping Darkie's own pockets.
Started to rise, and he woke up to the sight of a beam of light coming through his tent.
The beam of light could mean almost anything that was positive that happened to him. I was thinking it was fame because then he says, making him look up to someone with a change of pace instead of looking down at people. This song and one other are the only songs in this album that are fully lowercased. With that in mind, along with looking up to someone, I think this id, the opposite of an ego, talking.
I wish you could see that I'm a person too.
I think this is his id talking, most likely, because this is the opposite of what he was saying and singing slowly instead of fast rap. This beam of light could have been him getting splashed with melancholy and viewing his position from a different perspective. Not being ignored because people are afraid of him or that they are lesser, but from a different perspective that no one respects him. This is him struggling with the idea of being less than them. A change back to him pitying himself. His id accepts that he will lose, but his ego wants him to go down with the fight. This is the opposite of what he was saying earlier, where he was above them, realizing the power he actually has. Either it's or the mix of his ego and id will give him more rational and realistic perspective, and the purpose of this is all to show that he will be able to turn back on his ideas and question them, and not be consumed by his ego like many rappers are. This interlude is a quite nice listen. The purpose of the interlude is to sit there in his thought and prepare for the transition. I really like this song because it reminds me of waking up in the middle of the night at a sleepover at my friend's house.
Hey, you should Google Blue Waffle. It's awful, terrible, unbearable imagery.
And we are back.
Robotic people marching forward toward the infinity. You at the epitome of rap in 2020.
Darkie believes that the love of rap is lost, and people are in the game making no changes and putting no soul into it. Robots making something instead of being an artist. Walking towards infinity means that they have done nothing with their lives and no one cares how much money they've made once they're dead. And this is normal for the rap game in 2020.
Get your money, it ain't shit to me. It ain't shit to me. But some
like Darkie says, and all these kids are retarded. He doesn't care about money.
I remember back in Long Beach, sitting in the crib. Everybody down bad, never on shit.
The chorus saying how little money affects their group, showing how he might want money. After I was losing hope for the song's importance, but Kept X came in clutch yet again.
breaking your pants and go make up a dance that could get you some clicks, nigga. You could be big.
Saying, Darkie is calling out rappers who rise to fame with a move or dance that will become viral for a few months, and then they usually will fall off due to the trend dying or losing traction, i.e. Silento Whip and Nene, Block Boy, JB, The Shoot, along with the overall song being about their life before fame.
You ain't seeing shit. All that everyone can think about is being rich.
This song's mostly about how if rappers just become rappers for the money and not true love for rap, they should just rob a bank.
Maybe cause they broke. You should rob a bank. All their songs ass I could spank. Every single rapper, every MC.
He's not specifying who is ass, but saying everyone. I think the inclusion of MC along with rapper is because that is where rap originated from, and by saying that, he doesn't think that 90s rap is any better. This is another generic line that rappers will say. Like earlier mentioned, blow, hose, and 45. So many rappers talking about lean or purple being in their drink that it being called mystery drink is ironic because people have said lean so much they now call it purple, special Sprite, and so on. This is how rappers post pictures with guns to look hard despite being multimillionaires. Talking about how chains being a way to show off riches, and hanging by my nuts is just to show how ridiculous some of these chains are. Dillinger and Darkie don't care about the pressure of the rap game. Talking about how people who fall off are usually uneducated, so they go working in fast food, and Spidergang will not listen to their advice. This is his longest song on the album, so it should tell us a lot. Still talking about how he is on drugs, but unspecified, so we know it's a parody of the incessant talk of drugs and rap. Saying look because he's making fun of how rappers need people to know that they do drugs. I can't tell if he's mocking someone or he's saying that Spidergang is above criticism. He didn't think that he would be this good, he just did it because he loved it and sees it as the reason he's great. This is just a way to say fuck you flaunting your money. Kind of off topic, but I really like the ending advice on this song.
You know, for a long time, I was a really introverted person, and I really didn't do a whole lot myself because I was scared of change. I was scared of like trying something and failing and having people like not like it, and I lived my whole life up until pretty recently in fear that someone would disapprove of what I'm doing, and I just fucking realized that that's complete bullshit. Thinking about shit that you have no control over and obsessing over having as much control over that shit as possible is fucking pointless. Yeah. Say a rapper thing.
Money bags.
Like the name implies, it's pretty political and it doesn't really talk about rap. Pretty intense title. People won't do anything unless they are recognized for it. Like the videos on YouTube of people giving homeless people money just so that they can record themselves and so they can be called a good person. Later mentioned again. This is not just directed towards rappers, but most people on social media who just want money. Another genius said, these lyrics are a reference to the Heretic Anthem by Slipknot. Both songs share the common themes of anger towards pop culture and the shallowness that is often accompanied by it. They express their opposition to those who consume and worship mainstream ideas through songs, making them heretics. Like how he's saying that rappers are the new politicians because they spread their ideas through song, and the listeners are heretics because of it. Whilst being a banger, it has nothing to do about rap. Yet another callback to X's song.
How much more of them opiates can you live and take? Ask you why your life is so shitty, you should investigate. Get the fuck off of the internet and don't meditate.
I don't think this is directed towards a rapper rather than the same audience he was talking about, and these kids are retarded. Shouting out Spidergang because they aren't fake rappers and I love what they do. Likely wanted to stay underground because of what the mainstream fame does to artists.
I wanna be a part of what you're doing, nigga, you like 36.
Rappers are trying to hit him up, but they have nothing to connect with him. Darkie doesn't want to sign to the label because he knows that it'll make him like music less and less and he'll be less free. Like he said in his last song, he wants to stay underground. I don't think he means that it's addicting, but that it takes a lot of your money away.
Where the devil take the babies and they print out all the plaques.
This is him making their evil more comical because he knows that if that's what they needed to do to get their money, they would do it without a second thought.
Want that money? They'll get your ass up on the radio, huh? Ain't it funny?
The only way to get on the radio is through suits, but that ain't it funny is because according to here, he wouldn't get a dime from it, so it'd just go to the label.
Don't make you dress up like a lady though or Playboy bunny.
They will make you do things that you don't want to do, being a reason he doesn't want to sign up. In the music video, we can read the label will own him if he signs, but has a bag of money to taunt him into signing.
Your favorite rapper's soul is on that page, nigga. The music fake, nigga.
Because the label is like the devil, well, they have their souls and have forced them to live a living hell by making music they don't care about. Music is emotion, and if the emotion is fake, so is a song.
There ain't nothing new to make with y'all.
Despite the artists telling their full story and peaking, their contract makes them make more music that they don't want to make.
My brain on drugs is a
I have no idea, man. I have no idea, man. That's its only words. Ganesha is a Hindu celebration on September 10th. This song is in all lowercase, and the first all lowercase song, Tale of Yehoshua, was a spy named Joshua, Darkie's real name, in the Hebrew Bible. This is his id or self-doubting part of his mind again, switching from his career to his old relationships. Could reference to by Chief Keef or by Childish Gambino. After a couple consecutive listens, I thought, for the sake of theories, he did a rapper, that's who he's talking about. My evidence is we know that he's talking about rappers a lot, and in this song, he names them her, and then talks about missing them as they were dating. This line, That could have been who he was talking about, and the incessant talk about drugs could have not been to mock their music, but to guilt them, tell them what damage they've done. It does say leave me out to dry after a bit, but maybe he wants to say out of their music. Leave me out of your music. The big rapper he was looking up to in the tale of Yehoshua. But this is a massive stretch. This song is about his dead grandpa he briefly mentioned in Swamp. So, no rap talk. Also, it's undercased if you couldn't tell with the tone. It's his id and self-doubt moving on from his career to his ex-girlfriend and now to his family, likely going up in importance. Personally, I think it's a really bad transition, going on the verge of tears to hearing
I feel like I'm Dennis, I'm making myself a menace.
The Dennis the Menace line is a third line of the parody of overused words in rap. If you've ever turned on West Coast classics, then you will know 2 songs that mention Dennis the Menace. You Know How We Do It by Ice Cube. Not sure what the other song is, and it's still kind of eating at me, but it's fairly commonly used. The name of the song, Darkie Can Rap, is a reference to 2 songs before this, Darkie Can't Rap and Darkie Still Cannot Rap. This is to prove his growth, either in numbers or talent, depending on his definition. This song is not to rappers but his haters that said he couldn't rap. After all that, Darkie just wants to make his music the way he wants. He doesn't want a label, and he doesn't want other rappers telling him what to do. He never concludes that the swamp has been drained or goes back to the overflowing shit. He just learns to live with it. He complains less and less about hip-hop world and starts talking about real life. He stops obsessing over shit he can control and worrying about what others think. He starts to make music that was for him, not others, and not about others. Darkie can rap, and that's what he wants to do. He's proven himself to be comfortable in his discomfortable spot in rap. He realized that his worrying about others is just noise in his head. Okay, I'll stop with the song title thing, but it's a good conclusion. I think it's a fitting end, and I think it's fitting to end it with majority lowercase songs. Maybe it wasn't his id or self-doubt, but just a voice of reason.